A pre-sentencing investigation report was ordered and has been filed with the court. The report notes the defendant falls into the low-risk category for general recidivism in comparison with other individuals with similar characteristics. Defendant will need to demonstrate positive pro-social adjustment in the following areas in order to reduce the potential for recidivism: leisure, recreation, alcohol, drugs. I mean, compared to all drug users, I think that's fair, to be honest. I mean, Nick has his problems, but compared to all drug users, he has better indicia working for him than most people. He has support. He has parents who apparently still support him. He has a wife who loves him. He has children. He has family. He has been successful in the past. He has the potential for earning money due to his training and education. So he certainly has more factors going in his favor than the typical drug user. So compared to most, he has a chance, which I think is fair. The report recommends defendant serve 30 days in jail, credit for 2 days served. And so that's interesting, is that the pre-sentence report recommends jail time, which we didn't really expect. Even 30 days, we didn't really expect for a first-time offense. But they're recommending 30 days jail time. Now, presumably, if he gets jail time, it would be served like he would have to show up on the weekends, kind of thing. Probably was how that would go down. Probably wouldn't be continuous. It would probably be, show up on the weekends and do 2 days at a time for 15 weeks or something like that. But interesting, the pre-sentence report recommends jail time. Didn't see that one coming. So that's interesting. However, the recommendation is not borne out by any specific facts in the report. It seems more than boilerplate language is inserted in the report rather than considered and reasoned recommendation of a trained probation agent. You wish. Indeed, it's hard to conceive how this recommendation is meant to aid the subject in successfully addressing those areas while promoting public safety. Jail should be sanctioned as a violation of probation condition and as a workaround by the state for stay of adjudication defendant received. I'm sure the language in the report was fairly bureaucratic because they're bureaucratic. So it was very paint by numbers because that's the way bureaucracies roll. So I agree that the pre-sentence report did not contain super special, interesting language about Nick and how he's a special boy. Probably was very banal, basic, and dry. I'm sorry that the language was a little dry for your taste, but yeah, I don't think that they necessarily were doing anything other than what they do typically. So, but nice to try to reach, I guess. The length of the probation appears to be a similar problem. The recommendation relates to a term of 5 years. Wow. I mean, that's a lot, right? Technically, his probation can be up to the length of the possible sentence. But, we were thinking maybe 1 year, maybe 2. But the pre-sentence report recommends 5. 5 is a long time, man. 5 is a long time to have to be in probation and have to do drug testing and urine testing and alcohol testing and have the police, show up and do searches and all. That's a long time to keep your nose clean, just saying. And if you violate that probation, remember you've already pled guilty. Remember that part where he's already pled guilty? So that means that if he violates probation, that guilty can get entered, and now we can sentence him for the crime. So that's a lot of pressure. You screw up one time, and they can yank the deferred. They enter the guilty plea. You've already pled guilty, and now they get to sentence you based on the crime, which might include exciting prison time. Holy shit. 5 years is a long time, man. So the defense is not really happy with the 5 years proposal. They prefer less. However, no facts in the report support the recommended length of probation. Instead, the recommendation appears wholly conclusory. Similarly, it's hard to conceive how the recommendation is meant to aid the subject in successfully addressing those areas while promoting public safety. Well, hopefully it keeps his nose cleaner longer would be nice. Additionally, the court may defer further proceedings and place the person on probation upon such reasonable conditions as it may require and for a period not to exceed maximum sentence provided by the violation. Right. So they can put you on probation up to the entire length of the sentence if they want. However, in this case, the recommended deferral period is 21 months. So they think the recommendation is 21 months. They think it's about 2 years, which sounds more right to my mind. It would both defy logic and common sense to defer adjudication for 21 months while simultaneously placing defendant on a probation for 60 months. Well, we can fix that by keeping the deferral period open because we can do it. We're allowed. The PSIR recommends defendant complete 80 hours of community service work. However, again, the recommendation is wholly conclusory. I mean, of all the things to complain about, the 80 hours of community service, really? I mean, I'd probably go the other way if I were the defense on this one. I would be my gut instinct. I'd probably be saying, we're willing to do more community service in exchange for less jail or less probation. But 80 hours of community service is too much? Seriously? Okay. I mean, all right. I mean, seems like a slightly strange choice to me tactically, but you do you. As the letter submitted with the sentencing memorandum demonstrate, defendant is a very active member of his community. He has continued to be active and involved in his church during the pendency of these charges. Defendant is currently restricted from the practice of law despite having an attorney registry number. As the report notes, defendant's business allowed him to directly donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to charity and indirectly $1 million plus by encouraging my audience. What? He directly donated hundreds of thousands to charity and millions by encouraging his audience? What self-serving garbage is that? He's done good works, people. He's done good works because he's encouraged others to donate to charity. Millions of dollars to charity. Where are we pulling that number out of? Our ass? Also, hundreds of thousands of dollars to charity? Do you mean by like buying paintings and stuff at art auctions? I mean, I don't know, man. And also hundreds of thousands of dollars? I doubt literally every sentence of that. I doubt literally every single word. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, directly donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to charity. And indirectly encourage his audience to donate millions to charity. He's a philanthropist, people. He's a philanthropist doing good works. Okay. In this case, Candy, Ohio County Community Corrections Center has failed to deliver to this court an adequate pre-sentence investigation report. Very little in the PSIR reflects anything that would be considered a reasoned conclusion that aids this court in properly sentencing the defendant. Accordingly, the court should stay adjudication and place defendant on a probation period of 12 months, which also is a number we pulled directly out of our ass. So we'll see what the court does about it. I believe his sentencing is scheduled for tomorrow. And I would imagine that the court's going to land somewhere in the middle if I had to guess. So my best guess is still like 2 to 3 years, probably no jail time, but probably not the 5 that the pre-sentencing report is recommending. But, then again, to be also fair on the other end of the equation, Nick has effed around a little bit on this, as we're aware, and said things online that probably are known to some degree. And so I think that, if you had to say, what are the odds of him getting the better end of the 5 years, it would have to be due to him effing around and finding out. So while a sentence based on the pure facts of the case, I would suggest probably like 1 or 2 years, maybe 3 for probation without any jail time. Based on Nick's exciting extracurricular statements, at least in that and other things with him perhaps being less than him doing some frivolous things on the docket relating to some of his legal filings. It might be towards the higher end, but only time will tell. We will see.